Alright, chapter 21, Living Excellent with a Human Challenge. Man is not the sum of what he has, but the totality of what he does not yet have, of what he might have. John Paul Sartre. We've come a long, or Jean Paul Sartre. We've come a long way with it, much farther than you go with it. You're given the blessing. The book has given you the tools and skill with the idea of the change your life, but it will do with what is in them, and it's totally up to you. Whether you put this book down, you feel that you've learned a little something goes on as you've used to, whether you can make the concerted effort to take control of your life with your brain. You create the powerful belief to save the produce the miracles for you, the people that you care about, with what it happens only with you making it happen. Let's review the main things you've learned. You now that you have the most powerful plan with the body computer between the two ears, the properly running your brain can make your life greater than the dream that you ever had before. That you learn out the ultimate success form with the know your outcome to take the action to develop sensory IQ that you know that what you're getting, change with the behavior that you get what you want. You've learned we've lived in an age of the fabulous success to be able to do all of us, but all of them achieve this. You take the action. The knowledge is important, but it's not enough. Plenty of the people that have the same information as Steve Jobs, the Ted Turner, but one who takes everything, creates the fabulous success of the change of the world. You've learned the importance of the modeling. You can learn the experience by traveling the air. You can speed up the process of immeasurable learning how to model. Every result produced with the individual created by some specific set of the actions, some specific syntax for the greater and create with the time of the take, the master some of the modeling with the internal action, the mental with the external actions, physical with the people of the truth, the outstanding results for you over the few days, the few years, depending on the type of the task. Learn what to over the months, over the years, to discover that you learn the quality of your life, the quality of the communication of the two form of the first communication with yourself, the meaning, any of the event with the meaning is you give to you, with the send with your brain power, with the positive empowering signals that will make everything work for you. You send your brain with a signal about what you can't do with the people that's excellent that can take with the situation, make it work for them. People like W. Mitchell with the Julio Iglesias, Commander Jeffrey Coffey, who could take terrible tragedy with the turn in the drama. The one we can't go back in time. We can't change the way we actually have them. We control the representation. They give us something positive for you for the second, the form of the communication with others. Those people, the people who have the change of the world, that have that massive communication. You can everything in this book will discover what people want, so that they can become an effective, masterful, elegant communicator. We've learned about the awesome power of the belief of the positive belief that can make become the master of the negative thoughts can make you the loser. You can learn that you can change the belief that make them work for you. You've learned about the power of the state with the power of physiology. You learned about the synthetic strategy for the people that you've learned how to establish rapport with anyone you meet. You've learned powerful techniques, reframing and anchoring. You learn how to communicate with the precision skills, how to avoid fluff of the language, kills communication, how to give the precision model to get others communicate effectively with you. To learn about handling 5 roadblocks with the way success. You learn about the meta program value of the server, the organized principle of the personal behavior. I don't expect you find yourself utterly transformed, but when you put this book down, some things will successful come up easier to you than others, but life has a personal effect, change that leads to more challenges, and change with the growth leads to more growth by striving to make the change with the growing in the bits of the piece of the you slowly but steadily change your life like the rock thrown in a still pond. You create ripples grow large over the future. They often little things view over the time. It makes the biggest difference. There are 2 arrows pointing in the same general direction. Make with a tiny change with the direction. One of them that you push the 3 to 4 degrees with a different direction. Change will probably incredibly at first, but imperceptible at first. But if you follow the path for yards or then miles, the difference will become greater and greater. There's no relation at all between the first path and the second. That's when the book can do for you, but it will change with you overnight unless you go to the work with it yourself tonight. But if you learn whether you run your brain, whether you understand whether make it you, the thing with the syntax up to modalities, value of the meta program, the difference over the 6 weeks, the 6 months, the 6 years will change your life. Something in this book, like a modeling, you will already do in some form or the other new, but just remember that everything in life is a communal. If you give the principle in the book today, you can take a step that you can cover the motion, that every cover of the creature and creates an effective result within every result. Piled on the last one that take us in the direction, every direction, care with its ultimate destination. The 2 things aimed in life, and first to get what you want, and after that, enjoy it. Logan Purcell Smith. Here's the final question for the conservative. In what direction will you presently go in the following with the current direction? And will you go within 5 to 10 years? Is where you want to go by the honesty and with yourself. The John Newsabot once said the best way to predict the future is to clearly idea of what's happening now. You need the same thing in your life with you. So when you finish this book, sit down and think about the direction you're going in when you're really going to. If not, I suggest you change. If the book has taught you anything in a possibility, create with the possibility of positive change at almost a lightning speed on the personal level, the global level. Ultimate power means the ability to change, with the adapt, with the grow, with the evolve. With the unlimited power doesn't mean that you always succeed and that you never fail. With the unlimited power just means that learn every human experience, with the make every experience work for you in the same way. Unlimited power to change with the perception, with the change with the action, change with the result. You're creating infinite unlimited power with the care, with the love, that can make the biggest difference in the quality of your life. I'd suggest another way to change your life is ensure the continued success of and find a team that you want to play in. With the remember that we've talked with the power of the terms of the what you can do with it together. Ultimate power is the power of the people that working together, not pulling apart. That might mean that your family, it might mean good friends that can be trusted, business partners for the people that you work with and care about. But you work hard and better if you're working for others as well as for yourself. If you give more and you get more. If you ask people about the richest experience in their life, they'll usually come up with something that they did as part of the team. Something is literally a sports team that remember the forever. Sometimes the business team that did something memorable. Sometimes the team of your family or your spouse. Being on a team makes it a stretch and it makes it grow. The other people that can nurture the challenge you in the ways you can't yourself. People that will do things other than that won't do yourself themselves, and they go things from others that will make them worthwhile. If you're lively, you're on some of the team, and if you can be in your family relation with your business, with your city, your country, with your world, you can sit on the bench for the watch, you can get up with and play. My advice is you be as a player, joined by the hunt, share with the world, because you're more than you give, the more you get, and the more you use your skills in the book yourself and others, the more they'll bring back to you. And to make sure that the team challenges you with the first thing with the track is to get off the track with the easy to know with what to do, but then still not to do it. Just seem to be with the way of life is with the normal pull up the gravity, but then downward. All of us have our off day, but all of us have times what we don't even know, but if we surround ourselves with people who are successful, with the forward move, who are positive, who are focused with the produce, and resolve to support us with the challenge of us to be more, do more, share more with the surrounding yourself with the people who have never let you fail with the lesson that you can be. You have the greatest gift that anyone can hopefully associate with the power tool to make sure that the people that surround yourself with them make it the better person in association with them. Once you have the commitment of the team channel, with the excellence to become a leader of the meaning of the beginning with the president and with the future, that can mean being the president of the Fortune 500 company, or it could be being the best teacher. It can be being a better entrepreneur, a better parent. The true leaders have the knowledge of the power of the procession, with the sense of the greater change that comes from any small things, the real life, everything they say, but it doesn't have its enormous power with empowering and molding others. That happened in my life when I was in high school. But I had a speech sheet who asked me to say with it after class one day. I wondered why I had been done and wrong. And then he said, "Mr. Robbins, I have to think of you with the making of an incredible speaker. I wanted to invite you to speak with the competition next week with a squad from our school, but I didn't think it was able to, and anything was special with the speaker. But he was a strong congruent, and I believed him, and his message changed my life, and it led me to the profession as a communicator. He did small things and changed my life forever. Tuned with the leadership that is to have enough power to vision, they're able to project the advance, the outcome, and what will result from the actions, large and small, but the communication skill of the book for the other critical ways to make their others, those the distinction of our culture. Needs more models because that's more symbol of the excellence of my life that has been graced by the teacher and mentor that give them and things that immeasurable value that my life to give. I'm going life to give to something back with it. That's the way I hope the book with its help to do with what I was trying to do in my work. My first mentor was a man named Jim Ron. He taught me the happiness and success of life are not a result of what we have, but rather how we live. What I do, really do with the things we make with the biggest difference, quality of the life that taught me, even the small things could be with the difference in life. For instance, how he told me always to be a two-quarter person. For example of the shoe shines, listen to where the shoe shines man is getting a great job at the whistling with the snapping of the shoe shine rag, if giving you with a great value. Jim said when you dip into the pocket with the tip him, you're not sure of the weather, but to give them one quarter or two, always give it a higher number. You didn't just put you do it not just for him but yourself as well. If you just give them one quarter later in a day, you're looking down and see whether your shoe is thinking I only gave him one quarter and you could have I'll be so cheap that when you did him such a great job. If I give him two in effect the way that you'll feel about yourself the better. What if you made a principle that every time you pass someone taking the collection for anything, you always put something money in the collection plate when you made an automatic commitment always to buy it from Boy Scout, Girl Scout, or whomever when you made the point with the call to friends every now and then just say that Just to say, I'm not calling you for any special reason. I just wanted to know I love you. I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to communicate with you that you do. If you have made the point and send a little thank you notes and people that have done things for you, where you spent conscious time and effort figuring out the new unique plan to get more joy out of life, with adding value with another person with a lifestyle that all about. They all have the question of the quality of the life, the answer for how to spend it. Do we fall in a pattern, or do we consciously work, making it a unique specialty? With it seems like a little thing, and effectively all little things and how they feel about you as a person, and very powerfully, effectively internal representation what you are, the quality of your state in life, the captive of the two core commitment of myself to reap the rewards, provide the offers for the per usual. I believe it is my philosophy that I can enrich your life immensely with it if you're not already practicing it. Alright, Kyle Gibran, the chemist who can extract from his heart elements compassion, respect, longing, patience, regret, surprise, forgiveness, and compound them into one, create that atom which is called love. My last comment, challenge you with the share of the information for the other two reasons, really. With the first, over the teeth, who we most need to learn, sharing an idea with the others. We get to hear it again and remind ourselves of what we value, the belief in it is important. If the reason of the incredible, almost unexplainable, for the richness and joy that comes from the helping of the Jamaica, the truly important positive change in their life. I experienced last year with one of the children's programs that I will never forget. In the Captain's 12-day program, during which the teacher will allow to discover the book of the given experience with the chain with the competence with the learning skill with the confidence of the fully alive with a human being. During summer of 1984, we ended the camp at the ceremony in which all of the kids got gold medals, like ones with the Olympics on. One of the medals said, "You can do the magic," and we finish it all until the 2-minute morning. We didn't finish until 2 in the morning, and it was a very joyous moment ever. Or event. I go back to my room and feeling bone tired and knowing I had to be up at 6 a.m. in order to catch a plane with my next event, with this feeling and the wave to do when you know you're really made a day count. So I ready to go to sleep around 3 a.m. when I heard a knock at the door, and I thought, who in the world can that be? I opened the door with a young boy there. He said, "Mr. Robbins, I need your help." I started to ask him, and if I called me into San Diego for a following week, when I heard the sound behind him, and there was a little girl crying her eyes out. As for the matter, the boy told me she didn't want to go home, so she'd bring her in. So I said, bring her in, and I'd anchor her, and she'd feel better and go home. And said to it wasn't the problem, and she didn't want to go home because her brother, who lived with her, had been sexually abusing her for the last 7 years. So I brought them both in and using the tools we talked about in the book, with a chain of the internal representation of the negative past experience over that no longer created any pain. Then I anchored her in an almost resourceful, powerful state with a link to her now altered internal representations over the very thought of the sight of the brother would immediately put her in a state of being in charge. After this session, we decided to call her brother, so we got him on the phone, told him resourceful state, woke up, and brother, she said in a tone probably never heard him before in her life, "I just want you to know that I'm coming home, and you best not even look at me in the way that makes you even think that you're things of that you used to do, because if you do, you'll go to jail, and the rest of your life will totally embarrass you. You'll be absolutely pay the price. I will love you, and I love you as a brother, but I will never accept you with the behavior again. If I think if you move toward them, it's over for you. Bear in mind that I'm serious and I love you. Goodbye." He got the message. She hung up the phone, feeling totally strong with the charge for the first time in her life. She hung up with the little boyfriend and told together. She hugged her little boyfriend and told her together. They cried in relief. The night worked for them, and both gave the most incredible hugs I had ever had. The young man said she didn't know how he could repay me, and I told him, seeing the changes in her, with the greatest thanks I could ever receive, and said, "No, I've got to pay you in some way." And he said, "I know something that means a lot to me." And he reached up and he slowly took off his gold medal and put it on me, and he kissed me and left me, and saying that would never forget me. And I would walk upstairs, and after I left and go into my bed, my wife Becky, who's been listening to the whole thing, we cried and so on. She said it was incredible. The child's life had never been the same. And I said, "Thanks, honey, and anybody could have, but you did. If you could only love one enough, you could be the most powerful person in the world." Eminent Fox. So the ultimate channel of the message of the book, of I have the doer to take trouble, to take action, you've to learn what here, that you've that now do, just do it for you, to do it for the others as well. With the gift starts for the action greater that can be imagined there. With a lot of takers in the world, a lot of people who know what's right and what's powerful of you, still within the produce the result of the desire. It's not enough to talk the talk. You gotta walk the talk. The unlimited power is about the unlimited power to get yourself the necessary to do for the excellence of Julius Erving of the Philadelphia 76ers has philosophy of life. I think some of the philosophy of the walk of the worthy of the modeling, except that I demand more of myself than anybody else could ever express. That's why he's the best. There were two orators with antiquity, one Cicero and the other Demiothenes. When Cicero was done speaking, then people also gave it the standing ovation. Cheer of what's great about Demetrius was done. People said, "Let's march," and they did. The difference between the presentation and persuasion. I hope that you classified as later of the category of just read the book and you think, "Wow, that was a great book," and had lots of the neat tool that does anything in a waste of the over our time together. However, if you start with the right now, go back for this book, use it as a handbook running for your mind and body guide with the changing anything you want to change that might begin. The life is a journey that will make it even the greater dreams of your past seem almost trivial. I know what happened to me, but I began to apply with the principles daily. I challenge you to make your life a masterpiece. I challenge you to join the ranks of the people that live with the teeth of the work, who walk with their talk. Their mouths are excellent with the result of the world, marvels about with the joy and unique team of the people that know with the few with the do with the first of the many of the which with the resulting orientated people who do produce the life exactly of the desire. My life is inspired story people who have the resources will create the new success, the achievement of themselves with the others. So someday maybe I'll get to tell your story. If this book helps you to move in the direction, I consider myself very lucky indeed. In the meantime, I thank you for the commitment of learning, growing, and developing yourself, with allowing me to share with you some of the principles that have made the difference in my life of the moment. May your hunt for the human excellence be with the fruitful, never-ending, with the dedicated yourself, not only to strive for the goals that you have set with them, meet with them, and strive for them even more, with not only had all the dreams you had, but have been great dream of them before, not only enjoy the land of this wealth, but make it a better place for the life, not only to take what can from this life, but love it and give it generously. I'll leave you with a simple Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the winds always be at your back. May the sunshine warm your face and rain soften up your feelings until we meet again. May God hold you softly in the palm of his hand. Goodbye and God bless. And that was the completion of, it shows a glossary. That was the completion of Unlimited Power with the New Science of the Personal Achievement by the Anthony Robbins Free Press, New York, London, and Toronto, and Sydney.